Not everybody's an entrepreneur. Today, it's all kind of pressure from influencers, from leaders, from regular people to be an entrepreneur. You hear people talking about being a slave to a job. I even use the phrase job slave a lot. But the reality is being an entrepreneur is not for most people. By the very fact of being an entrepreneur, it means that you have to have employees. If you're to be successful, you don't really scale it up, you have to have employees. And there can only be a very small number of owners in something unless you have an employee-owned company, which is very rare. And to be an entrepreneur, it mainly is a one-person position, and then other people who work under you or with you are the employees. And a lot of people are trying to be entrepreneurs who really have no business trying that venture. It takes a certain kind of tenacity, a certain kind of grit, a certain kind of stubbornness, maybe even a certain amount of craziness to be an entrepreneur. It takes a certain amount of self-belief and self-confidence. And it takes a certain temperament of independence, a certain temperament that involves a high level of creativity. And the essence of being an entrepreneur is quite simple. You have something and you sell it and you make a profit. That's quite simple. But the action of it is not simple. To be successful is not simple. A lot of people running around frustrated, depressed. They got no business being entrepreneurs. And I feel bad for them because they struggle. They have all kind of self-doubts and things that are common even to entrepreneurs, but they can't seem to be successful. And if you're watching this, you probably know who you are. You know if you feel that way. You know if you have a hard time picturing yourself being an entrepreneur. I kind of think that entrepreneurs are people who really can't be employees. They're too self-willed. They're too much of a leader. And I understand the aspect of learning to be a leader by following and all that stuff. That sounds real nice. But the fact is I was not a good employee. I can't be managed. I'm too much of a free spirit. I'm too much of an independent person. And I resent leadership, somebody leading me. That's just my temperament. Now, there's a lot of people out there, they have no problem with being led. And those people probably are employees. Listen, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Henry Ford, Rockefeller, anybody you want to think of, any industry titan is reliant upon having a great team. Having people who work with them, employees who are employed by them. Without those employees, without all those thousands of Apple employees, without all those thousands of Microsoft employees, those dudes wouldn't be anything. So if you're watching this and you feel as though you're not an entrepreneur, you're probably not. You're probably not. If you doubt that you're an entrepreneur in your deepest parts of your heart, you're probably not. Me, I know there's no other way for me. I know I couldn't be. I would be a horrible employee. As an entrepreneur, I'm awesome. But as an employee, I'm not. Now there's another thing that I've heard about, which is an entrepreneur, where you're not quite just an employee, but you're not yet really an entrepreneur. You're basically kind of a hybrid between the two. And you work good under a lot of freedom, but not so much freedom to where you don't have anybody to answer to. You see, the key is to knowing our weaknesses so that we can know our strengths. Now, we don't focus on our weaknesses, we focus on our strength, but we have to know our weaknesses. Me, I can't be led well. Me, I have to be autonomous. Me, I have to be free to be creative. A lot of those things. So you need to know that what your weaknesses are in order to be able to capitalize upon your strengths. And that involves some self-reflection, some self-examination. I hope a lot of you who are setting out to be entrepreneurs, who are miserable, will stop. And you'll go find somebody who's a great leader, and you'll go help them because they need you. They need people like you. Maybe you're an entrepreneur. You don't need to be micromanaged. You don't like that. You don't really like much management at all, but you do like some. You like some leadership. Go help somebody because they need you. I'm an entrepreneur. I need great people. Without people, I don't have anything. So go out, find somebody to help.